Hello, audience. This is me, Maryam Zulfiqar TrainingWali. I welcome you back once again in my The Trainers podcast episode. Today, I have a very amazing guest in my studio, and I'm very excited to have an interview with her. Her name is very interesting. First of all, her name is Suraya, as pronounced in Arabic, but in English we pronounce it Thouria, and she born in Morocco, raised in Algeria, and she is a multilingual teacher over 30 years experience, and she's doing wonderful job in teaching multilingual. So let's start our interview with and to welcome her in the studio. So hello ma'am, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Salam. Fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So, before moving towards the questions, I would like to ask you, please introduce yourself to my audience.
So, I'm a language teacher. I teach Arabic, English, French, and Spanish. I also do translation in those languages. I publish books in different languages to encourage people to study foreign languages. I have a podcast, a blog, and a YouTube channel for Arabic speakers who are studying English, but also for English speakers who are studying Arabic. They are bilingual. Um, I also have a podcast for learners of the Algerian dialect and another podcast for Arabic verbs because verbs are very important in Arabic. We have a special derivation system which is very useful. So students need to know the system. If you know the system, you can generate a lot of vocabulary. I'm married and we have three kids. They are 30, 39, and 43. And we have one granddaughter. Her name is Layla. She's 2.5.
Wow, that's so nice. Good to know about you. First of all, I would like to ask you a question regarding
Sorry.
your multilingual experience and the learning you have, and you taught like French, Arabic, English, Spanish, even though. Um, what actually instigate you to learn these different languages?
Well, if you are born in North Africa, like me, you already at least in my generation, we had two mother tongues. We had Arabic and French because the French were in Algeria for 132 years. So everybody spoke French at that time. People still do speak French, but they don't start learning it until later in school. When I went to school, we did half the day in Arabic and half the day in French. And at home, we spoke Arabic and French. So I already had two languages, and then started studying English in middle school, and then I studied English at university, and I have a master's degree in TESOL and bilingual education. And after I finished my master's degree, I started teaching at the United Nations, at the United Nations School for Diplomats and Staff Members. It's a school that the UN has for diplomats and staff members so they can learn the six official languages of the UN. Do you know what languages are the six official languages of the UN? Do you know them?
I have no idea until now.
Okay, so it's Arabic, English, French, Spanish, Russian, and Chinese. Um, and so people are encouraged to learn these languages so they can work in these languages. And in the program, you are studying towards a proficiency exam. And if you pass that exam, you can actually use that language for work. So while I was studying there, I took Spanish. I finished the whole program and I have my certificate in Spanish, so I can work in Spanish. I also took the exam for French because French is my other mother tongue, but I thought it's good to have the certificate to have on my CV. And of course, Arabic is my mother tongue, and then French, Spanish, English. Yeah. So that's
So
why I think languages are really important. Foreign languages are very important because they open many doors and they help you discover a new culture. And if you know someone's language, or even if you don't know a lot of their language, they feel a special connection to you immediately. And I think that's very precious.
Exactly. And when we have to communicate each other, we have to know about the languages actually. This is the basic mean how to get connection to each other.
Yes.
That's nice. Um, could you please share the simplest way to learn the language as a beginner, and that will be the most effective way to learn the language?
So the best way to learn a language is to go and live in the country where the language is spoken. However, that's not always possible. So what you need to do is try to create that environment. Try to immerse yourself in the language, even if you are a beginner. Listen to songs in that language, watch movies in that language. Even if you don't understand anything in the beginning, it's going to be hard, but you are, while you're watching, if you have the translation on the bottom, you are getting used to the sounds of the language. You are noticing similarities between your language and that language. You are discovering the language. You're discovering the intonation, the stress pattern, without knowing it. You are learning. And if you watch the news, for example, in the foreign language, you already know the news in your language. So watching the news, you are able to understand a lot because you have that knowledge already and you're just seeing it in a different language. So all these things are important. Reading in the language as much as you can. Even in the beginning, you can't read, but if you look at pictures you look at the news and you see a title, you already know what happens, so you can try to figure out what it says. Um, so those are very important. It's also, I think, important to learn about the structure of the language. So get a book and go through the grammar, through the lessons, because it's important to organize your learning. If you're just watching videos, etc., it's not going to be the same. Also, it's really important to speak in the language. So, we used to go to something called a language lab. Do you know what a language lab is?
Not yet.
You're too young. You're too young. They don't make those anymore. Now you have YouTube, you can listen and stop and repeat. And so when I was learning English, we went to a room. It was called the language lab, and it had booths, and each booth had a tape recorder with a tape
Oh,
inside. And the teacher would sit at the console and listen to us. On the tape, she used to record sentences. And then after each sentence, there was a silence, so we could repeat. And she would listen to us and check our pronunciation and help us with the pronunciation. You see? So you don't need that anymore because you can do that with movies, with YouTube, you can go on social media. That's another thing. It's important to talk to people in that language. And in the beginning, maybe you just listen to people talking, but as you get more confident, you can raise your hand and go up and talk. Ask questions, even if you're not going to say anything. Ask a question, and that's a good way to start communicating with people in the foreign language for practice.
that's nice. But don't you think, too, Miss Aya, Arabic language is more growing faster as compared to the other languages, and now this is the era how we need to learn about this Arabic language. So, what's your take on it? Because you already worked with UN organizations and you taught lots of the language over there.
So I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you asking,
I'm
are
asking about
you,
Arabic language
yeah?
learning. What is the scope of it?
What is the scope of it? It's very interesting because interest in the language grows with world events. So, for example, there was a lot of interest in Russian after the perestroika when they switched systems. It became, instead of having all the different countries under one USSR, when the USSR changed or disappeared and became just Russia. And then you had some countries, some parts of Russia that became independent. There was a lot of interest in Russian, in the Russian language. Same with Arabic. With 9/11, there was a resurgence of interest in the language in Western countries. Um, yeah, and in places like the UN, where people have to communicate with Arab countries, they have to travel to Arab countries, they have to make phone calls, they have to send correspondence to Arab countries. Uh, People have to learn the language and they need it for work. At the UN, you also have people who want to become translators or interpreters in another language. So Arabic is one of the official languages, and it's a very important asset to have if you work for the UN or for any international organization for that matter. So yeah,
Oh,
very important.
exactly. Um, as a teacher, how do you see or approach the failure, both personally and the student's perspective as well?
Failure?
Yeah,
Failure in what?
in any kind of thing like
Oh,
failure in life or failure in any kind of exam as point of the student.
uh-huh. Yeah. So I think every time you fail, you're actually learning because you learn how to not make that mistake again, whatever mistake made you fail. I think every failure is a learning opportunity, and one should not take it as something negative. It's actually can turn it into something positive.
Okay, so after the failure, we have some setbacks, and then we actually have demotivation. How we need to deal those kind of the psychological things.
Um, I think it's important to talk to people around you if you feel comfortable. If you don't, then there is so much out on the internet that can help you overcome this feeling of failure. There are a lot of inspiring people who learned from their failures, and I think it's good to learn about their experiences so you can go ahead and continue with your life in a positive manner.
Do you believe experiencing failure is essential to become the successful person in life?
I think every person who has become successful has experienced failure and learned from their failure and grown from their failure.
And
That,
what about those
yeah.
people who actually have hundreds of failures in their life?
Um, I don't know. I don't think anybody just keeps failing. I think you fail at something, you try something else, and then eventually you find something that you're good at or that you succeed at.
Okay, that's nice. Um, yeah, that's a proverb. Actually, try till you succeed. So it means like we have to try it again and again in different manners, and we have to figure it
Yes,
out how we can be successful.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay. What are the three recommendations you consistently give your students, and what are the reason behind it?
So one of them is to study daily because it's better to study 5 minutes a day than to
Mhm.
study 1 hour once a week because learning is incremental. And if you study something on Monday and you wait until Friday to review it, you have forgotten a lot of it. So to keep it alive, it's important to do it every day. The second one is to organize your learning because you cannot just be haphazardly learning. There are books written by professionals that will guide you so that your learning is efficient. And then the third thing is to try to use all four skills preferably every day if you can, as often as you can. Don't concentrate on just reading. You know, it's important. Language is a whole. So you need to read, you need to write, you need to listen, and you need to speak.
Exactly. That's the most important thing because lots of the people know the language, but they know how to speak it, and they don't have the enough confidence to speak out whatever they learned from reading, listening, and the writing as well.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Speaking is maybe the hardest thing because you need someone else to speak with. You can read by yourself, you can write by yourself. Although if you're writing and nobody's checking what you're writing, you might be writing everything wrong all the time. But
Exactly.
with speaking, you need a partner to speak with. That makes it a bit harder. So it's important to make the effort. And on social media, you have so many opportunities to speak the language. There's no reason, no good reason not to speak. You really have so many opportunities.
Exactly. And but as you shared earlier experience that about the learning library. So right now we have lots of the tools to learn the language and to speak other people, and we can practice about the speaking skill that's also enhanced day by day. As a multilingual educator, which leadership skill do you find most valuable for building connection with students?
I think it's important to know your students well because people come from different cultures. And in some cultures, people learn a certain way. It's important to accompany your students in the way they learn and also help them discover maybe better ways to learn or things that will help them learn differently and more efficiently. Um, I think that did you say one thing or did you say three things?
It's really good if you can share more.
I think that's good enough. There are many other things, but I think that's really the most important, to be really attuned with your students' needs so that you can serve them the best.
That's actually nice thing, but right now we are actually moving towards a very fast-paced world that is related this AI. So in
Mhm.
this world, right now we have to learn about how we can deal the students through this online teaching and learning. So, in online teaching environment, which kind of this most thing you find as most helpful and more creative to create a healthy environment for the students while teaching online?
Mhm. I think AI has started to save us a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
because you can generate a lot of information from prompts. And I think that's very valuable. However, AI is still very limited and it makes mistakes, and you have to really know your subjects before you can rely on AI because you have to be able to correct it, correct whatever you get from AI. Um, so I think it's very positive. The problem with AI and teaching is that students do a lot of cheating. And so as teachers, we need to find new ways to test our students' knowledge to make sure they're actually learning and not you know, just using AI and giving us AI answers.
That's actually another point of view. My next question is related to this because due to this AI, lots of human creativity are now being like at risk. So, what you think about this AI is actually enhancing our creativity or limiting our creativity?
Um, I think your creativity starts by your prompts. So, depending on how you prompt AI, it's going to give you different answers. But then it doesn't stop there. You have to actually make some changes and make it more human because whatever AI gives you is really like a machine talking. It doesn't have much soul. You have to change it and make it yours.
That's actually the thing that we can add a humanistic touch into it. Miss Surya, can you please help us about does it more effective to learn the language with the help of this AI or to communicate a human? That's more appropriate thing.
Well, if you have the ability to communicate with someone, sure, that's much better. But if you don't have that opportunity, then you can rely on AI, knowing that sometimes there may be mistakes.
So how we can actually make ourselves more accurate while communicating with AI, or then after the communication we'll learn something different things that is not actually existing. So how we can
Mm,
correct ourselves
I
in
don't
the
have an
presence of
answer.
AI?
I don't have an answer to that because AI itself doesn't have an answer yet. I think they're working on it, but I wouldn't be able to tell you the answer to that question.
Okay. As AI continues to transfer many fields, so what do you envision as the future role of the teacher?
So the future role of the teacher is to find ways to make AI interesting and use it as a learning instrument for students. Go beyond just requesting an essay, for example. Have a chance to someone joining us.
I
Have
think
a
it's
chance
by mistake.
is have a chance to actually discuss what you have learned, not just present a paper, but find a way to discuss and ask questions, ask the student questions to discover whether they have actually learned or not.
Okay, and one more thing that nowadays, because of this AI, lots of the teachers are actually getting things confused because they are confusion having the confusion. This AI will replace the teacher's role as well. Do you think so? It will happen in future or maybe right now?
AI has been making so much progress that I'm afraid one day I will not have a job. For now,
Seriously?
for now, well, they say AI will control the world. It's really scary because they say AI will eventually actually control the whole world and we might lose control of the whole world. So I wouldn't be surprised if we would, if it could replace humans, human teachers very soon. It's advancing so fast.
I mean, it's the alarming situation for everybody. We need to figure it out what we will do
Right.
in the presence
Yeah.
of AI.
I mean, we have jobs. I don't know about our kids, you know.
Exactly. Okay, I have a last question to you. Many students are increasing reliant on AI and struggling with critical thinking. So,
Mhm.
how do you think about we can induce or enable to create more critical thinkers in our students, or due to this AI, this will be decreasing day by day?
As I said, we have to make sure we have human interaction with the student, not just ask them to send us a paper, which
Exactly.
probably written by AI. You have to be able to actually discuss what was learned with the student to
Mm-hmm.
discover for sure what they have learned.
Okay.
Now, this is more time consuming, of course, but it's a necessity.
Yeah, because lots of the things actually we are getting from AI that's not appropriate, and that's not the need of the for the students as well. So we need to teach them what kind of the things they need to extract from AI and what
Yeah.
kind of the content they need to stop.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you so very much, Miss Raya. It's so
You're
nice talking to
welcome.
you, and it's nice pleasure to having you in my show. Lastly, I request you to give a message, as you are actually 3 decades you've served as a teacher, and you have multi experience regarding this teaching and the multilingual teacher as well. So, lastly, what would you recommend to the students and the teachers at the same time in this age of AI?
I think the most important thing is just to continue learning. As we were just saying, AI is advancing really fast. If you close your eyes, you wake up the next day and something new has happened, and whatever you were doing yesterday is too slow or not as good. So it's important to keep learning about the new AI and whatever else is new, because it's going really fast. And if you don't study all this stuff every day, soon you'll be left behind. So,
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Well, learning is very important for everybody who wants to excel in any kind of the field of life or any kind of the job he wants to secure right now. So that's important. We need to learn and upgrade our skills and our thinking. That's really important. So thank you
yes.
so very much once again, Ms. Raya, for having this opportunity to give me introduce my audience. And I learned a lot, especially about the different kind of the things regarding the languages and your name as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the interview. And check out my books on Amazon. They make beautiful gifts. They are better than flowers and chocolates.
Exactly. Thank you so very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so very much,
Bye.
audience, for this show, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation with me and Miss Suraya. So today we have a honor to interview Miss Suraya for this interview. I'll be back with another amazing guest. Till then, stay tuned and Allah Hafiz.